Two completely lazy grandsons who refused to work. Who spent their days glued to their phones and playing football while their old grandfather struggled alone every single day. Ended up becoming highly successful men. They built a thriving business, helped their entire Texas community, and made their grandfather incredibly proud. All because of just two simple lessons. You're about to discover a heart-touching story that will completely change the way you see hard work, family, and success forever. This is the powerful proof that you will always reap what you sow. But it wasn't always this way. What if one small choice you make today, when you think nobody's watching, could quietly shape the rest of your entire life? What if the way you handle the little things reveals exactly who you really are deep down? Get ready, because this heartfelt story is about to show you why honesty and hard work still matter more than ever, and how one old man's quiet lesson changed everything for the two boys he loved most. In the sunny small town of Willow Creek, Texas, everyone knew Grandpa Henry. He was 80 years old, with kind wrinkled eyes, thick fluffy white hair, and a full bushy white beard. He lived in a cozy old wooden house with his two grandsons, Ryan and Alex. Ryan was 20 years old, tall, athletic, and strong. Alex was 16 years old, slim, quiet, and always lost in his own world. After their parents passed away, the boys came to live with Grandpa Henry, and he loved them more than anything in the world. Every single morning, no matter how tired or sore he felt, Grandpa Henry would walk down to his little shoe repair shop on Main Street. He spent hours carefully fixing boots, dress shoes, and sneakers for the people in town. The small money he earned bought groceries and kept food on the table for him and the boys. In the evenings, he would cook simple warm meals for the three of them. But Ryan spent most of his time playing basketball outside or hanging around with friends. Alex was always glued to his phone, scrolling through videos and playing games for hours. Whenever Grandpa Henry gently tried to teach them about hard work and doing things the right way, the boys would roll their eyes and say, "Grandpa, times have changed. Working hard doesn't pay anymore like it used to in your days." Every time he heard those words, a heavy sadness filled Grandpa Henry's heart. He looked at his grandsons with deep love, but also with quiet worry. He wondered if they would ever understand the most important lessons in life. This was their everyday reality, an old man giving everything he had with honesty and love, while the two young boys lived without purpose or care. One chilly autumn afternoon, Mr. Peterson, the kind high school English teacher everyone in Willow Creek loved, walked into Grandpa Henry's shoe repair shop carrying his favorite pair of worn brown dress shoes. "Henry, these are my teaching shoes," he said with a warm smile. "The soles are coming apart. Think you can fix them by tomorrow? Big parent-teacher night coming up." Grandpa Henry took the shoes gently in his tired hands. "Of course, Tom. They'll be ready." That evening, Grandpa Henry carried the shoes home. His back was hurting more than usual and his steps were slower. He sat Ryan and Alex down in the living room. "Boys, I've shown you both how to sew shoes many times," he said softly. "Today I need your help. These are Mr. Peterson's shoes. Please repair them the right way, with honesty and care. Every stitch matters. When nobody's watching, that's when your true character shows." Ryan smirked and shook his head. "Grandpa, come on, it's just a shoe." Alex laughed quietly. "Why do you always make such a big deal about honesty in tiny things like this?" Grandpa Henry looked at them for a long moment, his kind eyes filled with quiet sadness. "I care, boys. And one day you will too." He was too weak to argue anymore, so he went straight to bed. The second Grandpa Henry closed his bedroom door, the boys burst out laughing. "Can you believe him?" Ryan said, rolling his eyes. "Always with the big life lessons over nothing." They grabbed the shoes, picked the first random piece of thread they saw, and stitched them any old way, loose, sloppy, and careless. They didn't even try. Then they tossed the shoes on the table and went back to their phones and games. The next morning Grandpa Henry came out of his bedroom looking pale and tired, but he still tried to smile. He called the boys into the living room. "Ryan. Alex, where's the shoe you fixed for Mr. Peterson?" The boys handed him the poorly stitched shoe without thinking twice. Grandpa Henry ran his old, wrinkled fingers slowly over the stitches. He could feel how loose and careless they were. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he simply nodded, took the shoes, and walked slowly down to his shop on Main Street. Later that day, when Mr. Peterson came by to pick up his shoes, Grandpa Henry handed them over with his usual kind smile. "Thank you, Henry. You're a lifesaver," the teacher said warmly. Grandpa Henry smiled tiredly, finished the rest of his work at the shop, and headed home just like any other day. But inside, his heart felt heavier than ever. That evening, Grandpa Henry came home walking with a slight limp. He called Ryan and Alex into the living room. His voice was calm but carried a heavy weight. "Ryan. Alex. Come here." He held up the pair of shoes the boys had repaired the night before. "Boys, this shoe you sewed yesterday, it wasn't for Mr. Peterson." The boys looked at him in confusion. "I already fixed Mr. Peterson's real shoes at the shop before I brought these home," Grandpa Henry said softly. "I wanted to see if you would do the right thing even when you thought no one would ever know." He slowly slipped the poorly stitched shoes onto his own tired feet. "Grandpa, don't," Ryan started, his voice shaking. But Grandpa Henry stood up anyway. "A man's true character is shown when no one is watching," he said quietly. He stepped out the door to run a small errand. Just 10 minutes later, the front door flew open. Grandpa Henry limped back in, his face twisted in pain. Blood was visible on his pant leg. One of the weak stitches had completely given way on the sidewalk, causing him to trip and fall hard. Ryan and Alex rushed to him in panic. "Grandpa!" Alex cried, his voice breaking. They helped him sit down on the couch. Grandpa Henry slowly rolled up his pant leg and showed them the ugly cut on his leg. The two boys stared in shock and horror. For the first time, they saw the real consequences of their carelessness on the grandfather who loved them so much. Tears started filling their eyes as guilt washed over them. The boys were sobbing, real, ugly, heartbroken sobs. For the first time, they saw the painful cost of their laziness and carelessness on the grandfather who loved them more than anything. Grandpa Henry looked at them with tired but deeply loving eyes. He took a slow breath and said gently, "Go to my bedroom, bring me the old black leather book with the red ribbon from my locker." Ryan and Alex quickly ran and brought the worn book. Grandpa Henry opened it slowly. Every page was filled with his careful handwriting. "I've been writing in this book for years," he said softly. "Every single time you boys chose the easy way instead of the honest way. I wrote it down. Not to shame you, but to teach you. And right next to every mistake, I wrote what you should have done instead." The room was completely quiet except for Grandpa Henry's calm, loving voice. He turned to the first page and read aloud. Lesson 1, Honesty isn't about the big things everyone sees. Honesty is doing the right thing when nobody is watching. A single dishonest stitch today becomes a broken step tomorrow. The boys listened with tears streaming down their faces. Grandpa Henry turned the page. Lesson 2, Hard work only feels pointless when you have no clear vision of where you're going. When you work hard with purpose and a dream in your heart, you don't just survive, you build something beautiful that lasts. He closed the book gently and tied the red ribbon. There are 8 more lessons in here, he said with a soft smile. But those are for after I'm gone. I pray you won't need them, because you're going to start living these first 2 lessons right now. Ryan and Alex fell to their knees beside him, hugging him tightly as they cried like little boys again. We're so sorry, Grandpa, Ryan choked out. We don't want to lose you, Alex whispered. We'll change. We promise. That was the day everything changed. Ryan stopped wasting his days on the basketball court with no purpose. He went back to community college, signed up for pre-med classes, and started studying like his life depended on it. He volunteered at the free clinic downtown and began researching natural remedies and herbs, just like his grandfather had always talked about. Alex put his phone down for the first time in years. He went back to school with real focus. He joined the robotics club and started helping Grandpa Henry in the shoe repair shop every afternoon, learning the trade with pride instead of complaints. They cooked dinner together now. They asked Grandpa Henry questions. They listened. And slowly, steadily, their lives began to bloom. Ryan graduated with honors and got accepted into a medical program. He's now working on ways to combine modern medicine with the natural healing methods he learned from his grandfather. Alex is studying engineering and already has a scholarship. The two brothers run the shoe shop on weekends so Grandpa Henry can rest and enjoy his days.